Bobby Cox, I'd have to say there's more optimism about the Blue Jays this year than in any year since they've been in existence.
I think so, Frank. The city's really turned on to the ball club. We finished very well last season. We won 78 games, and considering the start we got off to, we were, I think, 4-11 the first 15 ball games. So from that point on, we played over 500 baseball. So when people say, what are you going to do this year? I think we've already played 500, and we're looking for better things to come. So we're trying to improve upon 78 wins, and if we could squeeze out 12 more somehow, that would put us at 90, and that would put us in the hunt. Sometimes those 12 extra games are really hard to come by. So the players, like I said, they finished very well last season. They came to spring training with great attitudes, a lot of enthusiasm, and a lot of talent, I might add, and rightfully so. Some of the scouts and the newspapers have picked us fairly high in our division, which is the toughest division in baseball, in my opinion. And I think the Yankees are an improved ball club with the additions of Kemp and Baylor, and overall pitching, I think, is good. They've got one of the better ball clubs, but we hope to be in the race somewhere.
Bobby Cox, you talk about the way your club finished last year, and I have to believe that momentum at the end of one season will carry over. And it seemed to. You won 16 out of 26 games in exhibition play.
Yeah, we did it with a lot of different players, too, Frank. The club is no fluke or anything like that. We have talent. We've got excellent starting pitching, and we hated to give up the guy that went to your club, Dale Murray. He was a big part of our bullpen last season, but Joy McLaughlin's arm is fine now. There's no pain in it at all. He should be our stopper, and our hitting improved last year, something like 30 points as a team batting average. Our pinch hitters were excellent. We do a lot of platooning. We utilize everybody on the ball club as much as possible, and we're young is the main thing, and we picked up acquisitions of Dave Collins with more speed in left field, and we picked up George Orta as our left-handed pinch hitter, DH, and we picked up Cliff Johnson. So we picked up 3 professional offensive players in order to try to score more runs. So we were in 98 games last year with 2 runs or less, and that's a lot of good pitching in there and probably not enough hitting. So we tried to improve our offense, and I think we have.
My guest is Bobby Cox. We'll be back right after this.
John Donne said it more than 300 years ago. Never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Today, many of our American colleges are facing a serious money shortage. They're having to cut down on programs, reduce faculty, do without new laboratory equipment, cut back on modernization projects. This is not just bad for these colleges, it's bad for you and bad for me, because we have all benefited from the ideas produced by college-trained minds. Ideas that changed our lives, such as television, electronic computers, spacecraft. Ideas that saved lives, the Salk polio vaccine and the miracle drugs. If America's colleges run short of money, we're bound to run short of ideas, and then we'll all suffer. The bell is tolling for you, for all of us. We can't afford to run out of ideas. So make America smarter. Give to the college of your choice. A public service announcement of this station, the Advertising Council, and the Council for Financial Aid to Education.
Bobby Cox, you talk about the hitting on your ball club, and I think the Blue Jays are going to have to live and die with that starting pitching. You got a great starting staff.
Our first 4 starters are just excellent with Steve, Clancy, Leal, and Gott. Gott could be the real surprise of the American League this season, I think, with the number of wins that he's capable of winning. The guy we got from the Yankees, Mike Morgan, will be our 5th guy, our swing guy, when we get into a full schedule. He had a real good spring, and overall pitching is very good. We have a lot of pitchers, I might add, that are on the Syracuse staff for the first time, kids that were developed out of A-ball and AA. As you know, it takes a long time to build a minor league organization when you're an expansion team, but we've got a lot of prospects that are pushing right now upstairs here, and that's one of the problems that good ball clubs have. They have a backup of players in the minor league system, and the competition gets very keen. So we're starting to have some problems that the real good organizations are having.
Bobby Cox, you talk about Jim Gott. He's going to pitch this afternoon. I saw Gott last year, and he does. He looks like he's going to be an excellent pitcher.
He's a kid, Frank, that we drafted last season off the St. Louis Cardinals AA roster. He had never pitched AAA baseball, and he's only 22 years old, and he's got a great throwing arm. He had problems with control in early years of his career with the St. Louis organization, walking almost a bat or an inning, which you cannot win doing that. But since then, working with Al Widmar, our pitching coach, he is around the plate all the time right now with an excellent fastball, way above average, and his slider has been clocked at 90 miles an hour when he's right. So he's come up with a changeup, he's got the slider, he's got a curve, he's got a fastball, and the biggest thing is that he's maturing and he's got a lot of confidence.
No matter how good the pitching is, Bob, the defense has to go along with it. So what about this club defensively? You play over half your games, all your home games, on the artificial surface, and, of course, on the ballparks on the road that have it, Kansas City and Seattle. But what about the defense?
Our defense is fine. Willie Upshaw was playing his first full year defensively at first base last year, and he's probably got the greatest range of any first baseman I've ever managed. He can really cut off the balls, and he's on the right side of the diamond with Damaso Garcia, who's one of the best defensive second basemen in all of baseball. So our infield on the right side is very good. The left side with Griff, there were some stats last year that he was overall the best defensive shortstop in the American League, and I have to agree with that. Third base, Garth Ordge and Rance Mullinex platoon at that position. Both of them are very sure-handed right now. Last year was their first full year at third base, and they've really improved, and they're okay there also. Our outfield is fine. What it is, Frank, is we're very flexible. We do a lot of platooning, but it seems as if we never get hurt with defense when we do platoon. So it's just not a lot of hitters on our bench. They are also good defensive players. So overall, defensively, we're in the middle somewhere, I'd say.
A final thought with Bobby Cox right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Hello. Why don't you come down to the front row?
I don't have a ticket for the front row.
There's nobody there.
There's nobody else in here.
May I attract your attention?
To go on the radio.
Can't put a circus on the radio.
No, I mean advertise on the radio. Because not only is the cost of production on radio far less, but the commercials, once you get them finished, are easier to change your update.
For every town.
Change the name of the town. They can do that on radio.
You could have done this on the last 26 cities we were
Is that
in.
where you've been? Average audience has been what?
You're it.
I'm it. Ah.
Hi.
How do you do?
This is the great Blondoni. He's going to do the high dive for you.
Radio will reach people. Get them in here. Watch the show.
I'm not going into that vat of wet noodles for one guy.
I'll give you $1.
You already gave me $1. That's how you got in.
No, I live next door. I snuck in.
Okay.
Radio, red hot, because it works. When your business needs more paying customers, advertise on radio. It's flexible and cost efficient. The Radio Advertising Bureau can send you more facts. This station can send you more customers.
Bobby Cox, the Yankees are counting very highly on Dale Murray. He pitched for you last year. Just what can we expect from Dale Murray on the Yankee staff this year?
Well, he can work quite a bit, Frank, and he would be perfect to run in there ahead of your guy Gossage and do the job, I guess, that Davis did a couple years ago for you. He's an excellent person, a great competitor. He's got the forkball, fastball. He doesn't throw much of a breaking ball. He's got a change, but we used him as our left-hander out of the bullpen last season, which we didn't have a left-hander, and because of the forkball. Left-handers have a terrible time hitting against him, and sometimes he can run it up there 92, 93 miles an hour when he's right. So if the Yankees ever become disenchanted with Dale Murray, believe me, the Toronto Blue Jays would take him back. He's just an excellent guy.
Bobby Cox, I want to thank you for your time and wish you the best of luck for the 1983 season. I'd like to see the Blue Jays right there in the race.
Well, nobody would more than I do, Frank, and I think we're going to be around there someplace, and thank you for having me on.
My guest on the Yankees pregame show today has been Toronto manager Bobby Cox.